What apparatus do I use to close the back of my throat? Is it the folds? I think there's 3 folds. Which of them should I use? That refers to water, doesn't it? That terminology. Does that mean to let some kind of liquid flow through my body, or is that a... Is it acceptable in intention to try and follow and understand to the best of my ability, or to keep up? Does that mean the surfaces on the floor would be the lower leg and the upper arm? Sorry, is it the knee down to the, and does it lift towards the foot? Should my breath be going horizontally then? Oh, so not the centre of gravity. Do you mean the literal midpoint, the median? Please could you give me some kind of illustration of what surfaces I'm resting on, so that I can attain the state that I'm being asked to attain? Is that a 180-degree backward movement, and am I now upside down? Should my back therefore be pointing towards the people in front of me? What is the sacrum? Is that referring to a rolling of the foot towards the floor behind me? Does that mean a repositioning of the weight going backwards onto the foot rather than the palm? Does that mean recognising where the muscles are in my legs? Does high mean towards my face, or does high mean towards the edge? Am I able to rotate my ankle though without rotating the entire leg? If it won't lift all the way to my nose, then what will happen in the halfway position? Am I now positioned on the floor again, or am I walking my hands backwards towards my feet? Am I now completely bent double like a folding chair? No. Have you checked that that amount of weight can be held by the back of the body? Am I still leaning forward? How heavy should I be finding my head at this point? Where is the... Should the hands have come up from the base of the spine towards the top of my spine, or should my hands have come up above my head and backwards, or is that impossible? Am I correct to have pictured this as my thighs bending and bringing the weight down on the calf and the ankle? Am I bringing my weight back into an upright, wobbling position? Should my hands be approaching my shins from the front or from between my legs? Which side, between or round the sides? Are my hands still behind my back at this point, or have my hands moved back round to the front? Does that mean reaching my arms all the way out in front of me? And what happens if I collapse on the floor at that point? Wouldn't that put too much of my weight in front of my base? Could you explain the relationship the ribs have to muscles, or what other kinds of muscles might be used to manipulate my ribs? What apparatus to close the back of my throat? I think there's 3 folds. Which apparatus, which 3 folds? That terminology, those 3 folds, what terminology should I? That terminology, which 3 folds, does that refer to? An acceptable intention to understand which 3 folds. An acceptable intention to understand which 3 folds. An acceptable intention to mean that the surfaces on the floor, which 3 folds. An intention to does it lift which 3 folds? Is it an acceptable intention? Going horizontally, which 3 folds? Going horizontally, which 3 folds the centre of gravity? The literal median, which 3 folds? The literal median, which 3 folds? The literal median, do you mean which 3 folds? Please could you give me the literal median? Please could you give me which surfaces I'm resting on? The state I'm being asked to attain. Please could you give me the state I'm being asked to attain? Please could you give me the state I'm being asked to attain, a 360-degree backward movement, a 180-degree backward movement. Please could you give me the state I'm expected to turn? Should my back, therefore, which 3 folds? What is the sacrum? Should I, therefore, be referring to towards the floor behind me, a rolling of the foot which 3 folds? Should I be rolling the foot? Does that mean the weight's going backwards rather than the palm? Does that mean the weight's going backwards? Recognizing where the free folds. Does that mean recognizing where the free folds? Does high mean recognizing which free folds? Am I able to recognize without rotating the entire leg? And am I able to recognize without rotating the entire leg? If it won't recognize which free folds, then what will happen? If it won't recognize which free folds, then what will happen? If it won't recognize which free folds, then what will happen? What will happen? Positioned on the floor. What will happen walking my hands backwards towards my feet? What will happen walking towards my hands towards my feet, completely bent double like a folding chair? What will happen? No. Have you checked which free folds can be held by the back of the body? Have you checked which free folds can be held by the back of the body? Should I be leaning forward, completely folded up like a chair at this point, completely folded up like a folding chair at this point? Should I be completely folded up like a folding chair at this point, from the base of the spine, a folding chair from the base of the spine towards the top of the spine, come at the top of my head and backwards? Should I be completely bent double like a folding chair at this time, from picture this as bringing the weight down on the calf and the ankle. Should I be picturing this as bringing the weight down on the calf of the ankle? Should I picture this bringing the weight down on the calf of the ankle, which free folds? Should I be bringing my weight back into an upright wobbling position? An upright wobbling position approaching my shins from the front or from between? Should I be approaching a frontward position? Should I be approaching a forward front-facing position, completely bent over like a folding chair? Still behind my back at this point, folded up like a folding chair, move round to the front. Reaching my arms all the way out in front of me, collapse on the floor like a folding chair. At that point, which free folds like a folding chair? Too much of my weight in front of my base like a folding chair. Which free folds should I be like a folding chair? Could you explain the folding chair which free folds? Could you explain which muscles which free folds? Could you explain which muscles like a folding chair? Thank you.